In September 2017, I started my experience at Politecnico di Milano as a student of chemical engineering. Among the different courses I attended this semester, I was really impressed by physics. The name of the course was Fisica Sperimentale A più B, and I suddenly realized that it was not an ordinary course. During the first lesson, the teacher, Professor Zani, asked us to take out our mobile phones and to try to do an online multiple-choice quiz. The topic of the quiz was not completely new to us, but for most of the questions at the time I had just a general idea of what the answer might be. So I tried my best to answer them, even though I wasn't really prepared for that. Immediately after the test, we had the results, and I understood two things. There was a lot of work that needed to be done, but at the same time I had some basic knowledge I could use, so my starting point was not zero. I started following physics lessons, and every time a chapter of the program was completed, our teacher asked us to take an online quiz on the topic. Those little tests had some rules. The teacher gave us some questions about something we had studied, and at first we needed to answer the question by ourselves, using just our knowledge. After that, we had some minutes to confront the answers with our classmates, and then we could decide to keep our answer or to change them. After the test, the teacher showed us the results of the class. First, the number of right answers that the class gave when the students worked by themselves, and then the number of right answers that the class gave when the students have worked in little groups. The results were pretty amazing. We were much more effective when we were able to speak and confront our ideas with each other. We repeated those little quizzes every time we finished a big topic. At the time, I didn't know exactly why my teacher asked us to take those quizzes. What I knew was that those tests were kind of funny. For me, it was an opportunity to challenge myself, to try to do a good work, even though I was not always perfectly prepared for it, because I haven't already studied a part yet, or because I couldn't remember it very well. It put me in a situation where I needed to try my best, using just the things I knew. When the teacher gave us the results, I always thought, well, okay, this is something I know really well, because I gave the right answer right away, while this other one is something I kind of know, because even though at first I put the wrong answer, that my friends made me realize that I was making a silly mistake, while this other things is something I just couldn't figure out. Probably, while I was doing these quizzes, the most hard thing was that I was not prepared to do this test as I would be for a real one. Sometimes you simply don't have the time to study everything during the course session. But even when the results were not particularly great, I still felt better because I realized my lack of competence, allowing me to review those parts better. Making those little quizzes during the semester was particularly interesting for me. First of all, it made me realize how helpful it can be to work with someone else. Sometimes your mind, analyzing a problem, can see some aspect of it, while another mind can see the same problem from a different angle. So, working with a partner gives you a much more complete picture of what the problem is. For example, sometimes you have to answer a question and you can't really understand what they're asking you. But just a little hint from someone else, even if he has the same level of competence you have, can completely change how you tackle the problem. Someone could say that working with other people never puts you in the situation to count just on your forces and skill. But I think that this is not true, because in my experience, when we work as a team, we generally tend to put more effort than when we work individually. When we are in group, we feel the responsibility of completing the task not just for ourselves, but to the whole team. So everyone, in different way, of course, can add value to the team, maximizing their skills in the best way. Another good thing about these quizzes was that it would make me understand which were the topic I knew better and which I knew worst. Thanks to this, I was able to compare my results in relation to how I studied a certain topic. For example, I realized I was more prepared on the topic I had studied in the library during the week than the ones I had studied at home during the weekend. So, thanks to this work, I was able to make myself more efficient. Having several feedbacks during the semester on how my studying was progressing was really helpful, because individually I could see which was the best way to study for myself in order to achieve the best results, and to make mine a concept more easily.